Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I love this topic.
Yes.
I'm a sports enthusiast, and this is the topic made for me.
I'm very enthusiastic as well. This is a really fun topic today. Partly the reason why we're talking about this topic is because there's a huge game this weekend, Notre Dame and Miami.
Yes.
And this rival game goes all the way back to the 80s.
Catholics versus convicts.
Correct, and they did a ESPN 30 for 30 on it. A lot of NFL players on both teams back in those older rivalry games.
Hall of Fame
Hall
coaches.
of Fame coaches, right. We've got Jimmy Johnson for Miami, Lou Holtz for Notre Dame. This is a huge game this weekend because this really has playoff game implications, playoff spot implications, and you're really fighting for your life right now. And so that's where we're at in this point in time of the season, where you lose one game, you're basically out. And so this has to do with the rivalry, which is what's making it such a big game, is because of this rival game. And so we want to bring up how important the rival games are and the rivalries are between colleges and teams and players, really throughout all sports, but really when it comes to college football, because there's so much invested into each game. And we've got a ton of games we want to try to just throw out there.
Yes.
But even with the games that we talk about, that's just barely scratching the surface.
Oh, man, because rivals go all the way down every division, every level.
Exactly.
You know, teams' games, like if you're in the Mountain West, you have a rival.
Right.
If you're in the Sun Belt, you've got your rival team.
Correct, exactly.
There's some, expansion
Even
teams.
down to the junior colleges.
Oh, my goodness. That's true. That's
really
true.
tough rival games that you want to win that game every single year.
It doesn't matter if you've lost every game.
Right.
You're going to get up and get up for that game.
Right.
It's time to go.
0-6 is going to get up for the 6-0
and
team.
guess what? Knock them off, too.
And it happens quite a bit.
Knock them off and then do nothing else.
Exactly.
And be super happy because I ruined your season.
Yep, that's the whole year right there. It doesn't matter if you do anything else.
Yep.
But if you win that rival game, it makes the entire season.
You have a 12-game season, and I went 1-11, but my one was I knocked him off. That's all that matters.
Right. Well, a lot of these games we're going to talk about deal with in-state rivalries.
Yes.
And that's just a easy way to kind of talk about these big games. But the Miami-Notre Dame game is not an in-state rival, but these two teams generally do not like each other. There's been a lot of love lost. Again, with the 80s games, with Lou Holtz and Jimmy Johnson at the helm of their teams, there was so much going on between their players and trash talk, and that's kind of what makes it so exciting. But some of these games, though, really do matter, and there's a line drawn, there's a division between this side of the state and that side of the state. One of those, which is near and dear to our heart, the K-State KU, the Sunflower Showdown, that game means everything to the entire state. It is so big every year. I've had the fortune to play in some of those games, some of those battles. Some of them are closer than others, but to the point that you just made, the Owen whatever team, sometimes it's their Super Bowl playing the in-state rival, with the in-state rival being, 7-0, and it's just a great game.
Well, KU is a coach killer for football.
Absolutely.
And when K-State lost to KU, Ron Prince was gone.
Gone, exactly.
When
Exactly.
Texas got beat by KU last year, Charlie Prince, Charlie Strong had to go.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want to get too much into just our personal story, but when Coach Snyder came back, his first game against KU, K-State won, stepped up and beat him again. Coach was emotional. I don't want to put too much locker room business out there. Coach was emotional.
Yes.
This is a Hall of Fame coach, but what he knew was he could not lose to KU.
That's the truth.
He was grateful to the fellas. He was nice.
He cried. Coach Snyder cried. It was a big deal, and it meant a lot, because that was a huge game for everybody.
Because he was still, he walked in and had to fix a lot of mess. And there was no guarantees on that game.
Absolutely.
You very easily could have lost it.
It was basically the last year that they had all their big-time players.
That's
and they had a strong opportunity to beat us
Akeem
at home.
Talib came off of that team.
Yes,
I mean, they were good.
They had a lot of good players.
And they had the chance to come in and ruin Bill Snyder's welcome home party.
Right.
And the team pulled it out for him. It was a kind of a nail-biter, too.
It was. It was a closer game than what we wanted. It was Mark Mangino's last year at KU, Jacob Sharp, a lot of these younger guys, or other guys, Todd Reesing was still there. So they had some players that had NFL implications. It was a big game. And so that's to the point with all of these rival games. They mean a lot. They mean so much. And in a game like the Notre Dame-Miami game this weekend, where you have a top 3 team versus a top 10 team, it means that much more.
And the top 3 team has a loss.
They do have a loss.
And Miami's sitting there. I believe they're sitting at number 8 right now, and they're undefeated.
Exactly.
And it's like they're feeling very disrespected. They're feeling like, hold on. All we've done is win. Notre Dame got beat, and they're sitting there in basically the national title hunt.
Correct.
So you must trust and believe all Miami wants to do is whoop Notre Dame. They're just like, they could literally at this point fall off and lose the rest of the season and go out with a couple of losses. But if they can knock Notre Dame out, they will be thrilled.
Yes, they will. Well, let's talk about some of these other games here that mean just as much as this Miami Notre Dame game. Some of these games don't happen anymore due to conference realignment. A lot of it is dealing with money.
Shame.
Exactly.
Shame.
It is unbelievable that these games don't play. Or don't happen anymore, but these teams will play each other. Nebraska OU forever. That's just a classic showdown.
And it was the Thanksgiving weekend game. That always happened during Thanksgiving weekend.
Just always. It's just a fantastic football game to watch and be a part of. Texas A&M. Another just classic
again, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep, exactly.
There's a movie called, it was a play, it was called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And it was made because the winner from the Texas versus the Longhorns versus the Aggies got to take their players to this little whorehouse. It's called the Chicken Ranch. It's a true story. But that rivalry, all of Texas, whether you you know what, you could hate both teams, but when they play each other, you're watching to see who got to lose.
College Station and Austin, they're not that far apart. They're close enough in proximity that they're fighting over recruits, money, boosters, the boosters.
Whoa,
you're talking big dollars, big old belt buckles and big old cowboy hats. On both sides.
And the women hate each other too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, then you got Texas OU. We all know about the Red River rivalry there.
It used to be called the Red River Shootout. Shootout. But then that wasn't PC enough.
Exactly.
So there you go.
OU is in another one, obviously. In-state, this is back to in-state. OU and Okie State. A great rival game. It just took place last weekend.
They call it Bedlam.
Bedlam for obvious reasons. And let's move up north to Ohio State, Michigan.
Man,
I mean, you can't get much better than that.
Let me tell you something. Daddy and I have said when all the kids will graduate from college and we're finally, empty nesters and we're ready to go, we are going to travel to different games.
Absolutely.
Ohio State, Michigan is a game we're going to go see.
It's an elite rival matchup.
I just want to be in there.
You want to be there.
I want to tailgate.
And it doesn't matter which stadium it's played in.
We're going.
It's a great game.
I want tickets to that game.
Correct. Every year, that's going to be a fantastic football
They don't
game.
even say, they call it that team up north.
Yes.
Or they won't say each other's name.
Correct.
I mean, it's just hate.
It is.
And I love it.
It's a great game.
I love
great rival game. All right, well then, sticking with Michigan State, in-state game, another just bloodbath, just fight it out, smash mouth football game.
Well, this is a classic because Michigan State is now good. Mark D'Antonio has his team good.
Rolling,
They are rolling. They had a down year, after Connor Cook left. They've been fighting back.
Right.
But before this, they were the little brother. They were the kid brother.
Sure.
It was none of this. We're not saying Michigan State's name. Michigan would say their name all day.
Yeah.
Michigan State, because they didn't believe in them, and they would whoop them up. But Michigan State comes to ball every time they play Michigan. Now they are relevant. Now they're a dominating team.
In-state rival game.
But that in-state Michigan State would get up for that game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's always a good game.
It's a great game.
No matter how down Michigan State is in the standings, they're playing their heart out. Now, sometimes they could only give it one quarter. They just didn't have the athletes.
That does happen in a lot of these games. Sometimes you only have so much. Your punches
you threw
only
everything
so much.
you had at them.
Right, exactly.
But at the end of the day, they gave you everything they had. So that's, to me, the definition of rivalry, and I love it.
Yep. Well, Iowa State is another in-state rival game. You've got USC, UCLA, basically the Battle of Los Angeles. And then you've got Auburn, Alabama.
The Iron Bowl.
People are poisoning trees and TP in houses and the state capitol and all that. I mean, it's just unbelievable what goes on.
Hatred.
Hatred.
But you have Washington State.
Exactly.
Anytime
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Yes.
The list goes on, really.
It really does.
Again, we're
not going to be able to cover all of them.
No, but because of this Miami Notre Dame game, we want to bring up the fact that the rivalries in college football are unlike anything else.
It's what makes it unique.
It is, absolutely.
It really does. And if you switch real quick to basketball, the KU-Mizzou basketball game, and even the KU-Mizzou football game, The border war, that's been going on since the Civil War.
Another classic rival.
Since the Civil War, these two states have had little in and out for each other in the sport. That's a shame. And I guess the point I was making as an enthusiast, it's really sad for me to see that some of these games, we could work it out that these games are played, even if we're not in the same conference anymore.
Every year you can make sure that these two teams play each other
at least once.
It doesn't matter when it happens, but at least once.
You can make that happen.
And it's just one of those situations where we love the rivalries. We love rival games. That means so much to each team and each player. If you're an alum from one of those schools, it makes it that much more exciting.
Let me ask you, if you could bring back one rivalry game, Texas versus A&M, Nebraska versus OU, or KU Mizzou, which one of those would you bring back?
Sure. It's obvious for me. Nebraska OU. That's just hands down. We were fortunate to be at one of those last games.
My goodness.
Eric Crouch caught the touchdown from Mike Stunts. It was just amazing, and Eric won the Heisman that year.
I have the 1983 Nebraska OU game on VHS tape downstairs.
Rival games are awesome.
I'm going to watch it now.
And you know what? I'll be there watching it with you. Well, we want to say stay tuned to watch this Miami Notre Dame game. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel. Type in my name, Adam Orduna. We've got all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. Continue to follow us on Twitter. We want to say we appreciate your time, folks, and we'll see you again.